This is episode 39 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with Evan Brown. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well, but how's it going, Mr. Belated Birthday Boy? Happy 22nd birthday to TO Sports Talk, James Price. Where's the time gone?
It's crazy, man. I remember back in, it feels like just yesterday, we were just in high school and screwing around at 17, 18 years old, not that crazy stuff. But
I mean, we're still screwing around at 22, so.
Exactly. I mean, you got to live your life to the fullest, right?
Oh, exactly.
You absolutely do. And we're going to start off with the Toronto Raptors, who are living the life right now.
Kawhi Leonard lists Toronto Raptors beating the Golden State Warriors single-handedly.
By 20.
In Golden State. Now, I read this record. I don't think they've ever swept a season series against Golden State Warriors. And the last time they beat them at home was 2004. That was the Vince Carter days.
February 8th, 2004, where Mo Pete hit the buzzer beater.
I watched it this morning. I was like, look at that video quality.
Yeah.
It's got to be from 2004.
Where is that?
Exactly. It's crazy, and we were out our star player, and the Warriors were healthy. Last time we beat them, all Golden State Warriors fans were saying, oh, we didn't have Steph Curry, we didn't have Draymond Green. You got everybody, except for DeMarcus Cousins.
Who hasn't played all year.
Who hasn't played all year.
You can't really
a healthy
but you shouldn't
Golden State Warrior team.
You shouldn't need a fifth All-Star to beat the Raptors, or to beat any team,
especially when we don't have Kawhi Leonard.
You have arguably the best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
Arguably the best scorer in Kevin Durant. Yeah. You have one of the best defensive players in Draymond Green, who's a pain in the rear end to deal with, and you saw what happens to JV. That's just reputation. He gets slapped all over the place, and there's no call, and yet he dislocates his thumb.
A great coach.
Yeah, Steve Kerr's an amazing coach, and then you throw in Klay Thompson, who arguably is one of the best three-point shooters out there.
Exactly.
And there's no excuses.
And their home court.
Yeah, there's no excuses. They're 19-10 on the year.
So I don't know if Golden State Warrior fans are crying, which they probably are, but us Raptor fans are loving it, and we are, what was it, 23-7. 23-7.
Incredible. Top notch in the NBA.
And
by
Golden State is, I think, 19-10.
Yeah, I just said 19-10. So, it's crazy. I mean,
now you mentioned about JV. It was his thumb, right?
Yeah.
A slap on the hand by Draymond Green. I think he was going for the ball. I don't think he was trying to injure.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It was a weird play,
but it was really
just
aggressive.
Looked like
that's just.
It was aggressive, but I don't think it was meant to hurt JV.
No.
In any time. But weird, and he did not return. So
and he's
that
probably
begs
going to be
the
out
question.
quite a while.
Right. So this is, I guess, the Moose's time to shine in Greg Monroe.
And I think he's going to do a great job.
I think so,
too.
He
did an amazing job last night coming in and filling in for Jonas.
And maybe Serge if he steps up to the 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think is going to shut up a lot of people, Kevin Durant's press conference after the game, he said, and I quote, "They're not an up-and-coming team. They're here."
Man, he's got to stop this. He was, wasn't he on Twitter subtweeting his teammates caught with a burner account? And, man, if I were him, you're the second best player in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe first.
Yeah,
you really got that. Maybe first.
I don't know about that.
Right now,
LeBron James is LeBron. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, arguably
scorer,
the best.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, scorer. Let's just say scorer. You got to stop doing this crap. Yeah, right? I can't see him re-signing with the Golden State Warriors. I'm sorry.
Not the way this year is playing out. There's so much drama. Him and Draymond were pretty much yelling at each other. Then Draymond's out for, 10, 11 games with an quote-quote injury. Yet, I don't believe that one bit.
And like you said, this guy wants to go, to the Knicks, to these big market teams where the spotlight is going to be on him more because he's going to be the guy in this market. Yep. I can't see it. I mean, I don't think he's going to re-sign with the Warriors, but I don't know how he's going to fare in these big market, teams, with these big market teams.
I agree.
Like the Knicks.
Yeah. I don't think, look, I agree with you in the whole sense of he won't be back with Golden State this year. But I think in the end, if you're a Warrior fan, I don't think you really care. I know. You
do because it's a big presence leading your team.
Agreed. But if you win 3 straight championships, I don't think it really matters in the long run.
And plus you just won, was it 2 with him?
Yeah, back-to-back. Yeah.
Right, so it doesn't really matter, but it kind of does because obviously you want to keep him around, but what's happened with him and Draymond in the whole locker room, it doesn't look like he's going to re-sign.
Right. And let's flip back to the Raptors here. Obviously, like we said off the top, Kawhi Leonard did not play in the game last night. He hasn't played in back-to-back games. And the crazy thing is, they play a back-to-back against LA in LA The Clippers.
As in okay.
And then you go to Golden State on the second night of a back-to-back when they're healthy. They didn't play the night before. So, I mean, the recipe for those games are a disaster. But the Raptors go into L.A. facing the Clippers, and they crush them. They just don't...
Which they should. I'm sorry, but on paper, they're not a good team. Record-wise, they are. But this is a team, and I think I talked about this with you last podcast. I'm sorry. You got to beat them.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
And they smashed them.
They haven't been playing well lately, and clearly they showed it, and the Raptors just took it right to them. And the crazy number is, the Raptors are 7-1 without Kawhi. Their offense is unbelievable. They're scoring like 125 points a game when he's not playing. They're shooting over 50%
So they have a better
field.
record without him than with him.
Well,
I mean, it's a bigger sample size with him in the lineup than without him.
Yeah.
But 7-1 without him.
And the one loss was the first game without Kawhi in Milwaukee. Without Giannis, and that game was just a debacle. That game, but since bottom line, they've won 7 straight games without Kawhi.
So
now, but then people are gonna say, "Oh, we don't even need Kawhi now." Well, when DeRozan was here and he got hurt, it wasn't the same thing.
Well, right, but let's just say that we don't re-sign Kawhi Leonard. Right now, it's showing that we need him, but it wouldn't be an absolute debacle if we lose him. Like the King when it comes to him leaving Cleveland.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it'd be a huge loss.
Oh,
because
for
like
sure.
you say, we're 7-1 without him. That's really nothing to go off by, right?
And a big reason of why this team won the last 2 games, Kyle Lowry. Everyone's talking about trading him and off with his head and all that crazy stuff.
Mind you, he was bad those 3 games.
He was terrible.
But I do agree. Come on. It's 3 games. Everyone goes through these terrible stretches. But 36 minutes, 0 points, a couple rebounds and assists. I mean,
Yeah, and if he knocks down a couple threes, you beat Milwaukee,
But everyone has stinkers. And he's the leader of this team. And Raptor fans need to stop questioning his play because, he doesn't want to play with Kawhi. He doesn't want to be the second man to this team. I'm sorry, but he knows that he's the second best player on this team.
Yeah, I mean, look, absolutely. We also have to look at it this way. Kawhi Leonard is a guy that just came in for DeMar DeRozan. That's a big difference. We're not even halfway through the year yet. We haven't played half a season.
And we're 23-7. 23-7.
Yeah. I mean, is there really people to complain? 2 of those losses were in overtime. One against Brooklyn, which should not have happened
by 1 point.
See, it's funny. You lose to Brooklyn with Kawhi in overtime with Lowry not playing well, and then less than a week later. You would play Golden State in Golden State without Kawhi on a back-to-back, and you beat them.
Didn't we face the Brooklyn Nets without Kawhi earlier this season? I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure I don't know if they did or not.
I know we faced Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I think they won. I think we Raptors beat.
I think
Brooklyn.
They would sit out Kawhi against the Brooklyn Nets.
Unless it was a back-to-back. I think
we don't know, but we beat Brooklyn and then we lost a heartbreaker. I mean, whatever. Those sloppy games happen with any team.
But what I've noticed with this team is, other than that one Milwaukee game in Milwaukee, they haven't been blown out. They've been a lot of tight games. You had an overtime loss against Boston in Boston. You had obviously the loss against the Brooklyn Nets, the really tight one against Milwaukee this past week.
Sometimes that makes it worse, losing by 1 point
to Brooklyn.
It does. I mean, if you got blown out by the Brooklyn Nets, that might be worse, I'm not going to lie, but just being beaten by 1 point against arguably probably one of the worst teams in the East, it's not a good look.
Yeah, but what I like is that this team is not losing by a lot. They're not getting blown out.
No,
they're always in games, and I think that's something you like to see.
I think we got blown out twice. Once against the Celtics, we lost
in overtime against Boston.
And
then we beat Boston
Milwaukee,
at home. And then we got blown out against Milwaukee in Milwaukee, and then lost by 5 at home.
Actually, I just quickly check on your phone just to see the
other losses
scores. Yeah, because it's interesting, like you say, that we really haven't had that much of a stinker really since the Bucks.
Yeah, so they lost. That was that game where you lost by 15 in Milwaukee,
right?
And then you lost by by 16 by the Pelicans. That was at home, and the Raptors couldn't shoot, they couldn't defend. It was horrendous.
Against Detroit,
you lost by 2, and it was a buzzer beater by Dwayne Casey's team.
Yeah.
Then you lose to Boston in overtime. And then you have Denver, which was the really tight game.
Yeah.
Then you lost to Brooklyn, and then a close one against Milwaukee.
So it's only been 2.
So, yeah, the
Right,
Milwaukee
against the
game and then the
Pelicans.
Pelicans game. But that Pelicans game is not picturesque of what the Raptors really are. And we have seen that over time. Look, defense is this team's strong suit. They just did not have a good time defending the Pelicans on that night. And it just happened. And they didn't do well against them. They didn't do well against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. But that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Because the Raptors are 23-7. Look, everybody loses to bad teams at times. Everyone does. And you got to take things as a grain of salt. You can't really dwell on things too much. Especially when someone's having a little bit of a hard stretch like Kyle Lowry. I hate seeing these comments and these tweets and media saying trade him. Yep. For what? John Wall? The Wizards aren't going to touch Kyle Lowry for John Wall. No, it won't. No, I don't think it.
Of course, I would love it.
I would love it, but the Wizards won't do it. I mean, other than the only way you can do that if you give them one of our younger players,
and if John Wall's having a horrendous year, like terrible year. So, I mean, with that being said, the Raptors are.
Sorry. We're in that really tough stretch, like we talked about earlier on with this team.
Yeah.
And they're doing very well in that stretch. However, they're not out of it yet. They still have Portland on Friday, and then on Sunday you're in Denver. So obviously elevation's
these are all
a problem
on the road.
there. These next 2 games, against Portland, then in Denver, then home for Indiana, home for Cleveland, then in Philly. That really ends the tough stretch.
Yeah, for this
tough
team. As in you're facing a Portland Trailblazers team who they're not good. They're 2
over
games
500.
over 500.
They're over 500, and they still have Lillard and McCollum. I can't count those guys out ever.
I don't count them out either, but that's a team you should beat when you're the Toronto Raptors.
You should.
Now, the Denver Nuggets playing in Denver, I agree. That's a tough game. And then you go to, and then you're playing at home against the Pacers.
Don't get me that garbage. Look. The Pacers just beat the living snot out of Milwaukee last night by 16. Oladipo made his return last night. Yeah. And what did he do last night? He only had 12, but he had a double-double. And, I mean, ideally, it's his return.
I'm not sold on the Indiana Pacers. I think they're a first-round team.
I agree, but when you look at them regular season-wise right now, I think they're a team.
You're playing them at home. If you're playing them on the road, but our home court... That's something to talk about.
I'm not saying you can't beat them, and I'm pretty sure the Raptors will beat them. But I'm just saying that it's not going to be as easy as people think.
And then, of course, you have Cleveland at home.
Yeah, well, we both know where that's going to be. It's a complete mess. And then you have Philly in Philly.
That's tough. You got Jimmy Butler, who's playing right now out of his mind.
Yeah, and you actually saw yesterday he did not play, and they lost to Brooklyn.
Does that mean the Brooklyn Nets are on a
3-game win streak? Look at that. They're 11-18.
Playoff bound.
But, I mean, and I think Joel Embiid was chirping before the game or after the game or something like that. I forgot where it was. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, that just speaks for itself.
You don't chirp when you lose to the flipping Brooklyn Nets. You don't do that. Well, Joel Embiid runs his mouth way too much in this game. I'm sorry. He does way too much.
He does, but that makes him a fan favorite in Philly. That's why people love him
absolutely,
in Philly.
Yeah. And then the Wizards just barely lost to the Celtics in overtime. The
Celtics come back to
7 in a row. Yeah, they've been playing some really good basketball as of late. The Wizards at 11-17 have lost 3 straight. They're just look. I think if you're the Wizards, and by trade deadline period, if your players are, if your team is still in this shambles the way they are right now, you look to move John Wall and you look to move Bradley Beal. 11-17. They've lost 3 straight games.
I don't think both of them. I think one of them.
Well, who do you move then? Look, both guys are fantastic players.
I think you move Bradley Beal over John Wall. John Wall is still the face of this franchise. You don't trade the face of this franchise if you can't get the right package. But if you get the right package, sure.
But it's not working.
Not yet. But I think if you trade one of those guys, you bring in 2 pretty good prospects or 1 great prospect, and then maybe the prospect will work well with John Wall. I don't think you trade both of them.
Well, I mean,
hey, if you get the right package for both of them, go ahead. But I don't think it's smart trading both of them.
No, I agree. I look.
So you agree?
Well, it depends where they're sitting. Honestly, if they're out of it, and look, with John Wall and Bradley Beal, I'm sorry, they're great players, but clearly it has not worked.
It's not worked.
It has not worked for quite some time now.
Oh, no, it hasn't. I agree with you there. But I think that it'd be stupid to trade 2 of the best players on your team just for a bunch of prospects. You keep one of those players, and then you let them work with the prospects you get back for Beal.
Well, John Wall is 28 years old and Bradley Beal is 25 years old. So who do you move?
Well, personally, I think that you move Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal has more trade interest because there's been more teams linked to Bradley Beal than John Wall. I think you can look at a team like the Los Angeles Lakers. Maybe they're willing to do something there. I don't know. I just think that the Washington Wizards, they're in shambles, like you said. They're 6 games below 500. It's not worked out. They're a first-round team, maybe second round.
But we keep saying this kind of stuff, and yet nothing ever changes.
Well, yeah, obviously, that's why I'm saying they're a first-round team.
I know, but they got to do something. And I think...
they're a tweener team.
No. I feel like the Wizards are just going to freak out, and they're going to trade both guys. I really do. I really believe that that's what's going to happen because that team
definitely one. I don't think both, but that's
they haven't played well on a consistent basis for quite some time now. Look, you trade John Wall or you trade Bradley Beal, doesn't really matter because in the end you only got one guy that can take your team. And can John Wall really take this team to the next level? Clearly, it hasn't happened even with Bradley Beal.
No, it hasn't happened. But what you're going to get back for Bradley Beal, you don't know. Right? And those prospects you get back for Bradley Beal could work wonders with John Wall.
Well, we don't know what contract situation they're like for those two players. We don't really know.
Locked up, I think John Wall's locked up long term. I don't know about Bradley Beal, but I'm pretty sure John Wall is. So that makes Bradley Beal more expandable.
But then his trade value drops because his contract's a problem.
Not necessarily if the team is willing to re-sign him and they're looking before they make the trade.
Yeah, if they're willing to like what the Leafs did with Frederick Anderson back in the day, trade him and then re-sign him basically right away. If that's a thing, then fine. Then yeah, you overextend because then you basically got him for years.
Yeah, and I think that teams right now would do that, especially because again, I don't think Bradley Beal's a rental. I think a team would call up his agent and say, listen, once you get traded to our team, a contract has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quickly. Right? So, Raptors obviously first in the East with the 23-7 record.
Milwaukee's second at 18-9. Philly's 19-10. Indiana 18-10. Boston 17-10. Then the rest after that are just we're not too sure what's going on. And those top 5 are kind of what you expected.
I did not expect a below 500 team by 3 games to be in the 8th seed.
Orlando. I mean, look, it baffles me to see that a team like Orlando is right now in the playoffs. But I mean, look, teams that you expected to be half decent, as in the Wizards, with the addition of Dwight Howard. Actually, I think he's still injured, isn't he? I'm going to check that out here. Yeah, he's still injured, and I don't even know if he's going to be. I don't even know if what's going to be happening.
His glute? Oh,
so he's just. I don't know. Back surgery. He'll be reevaluated in 2 to 3 months. That was a week ago. So basically, they're not even going to have him. Basically, which
at this point doesn't really matter for Wizards fans.
Really, honestly. But I mean, you look at the teams that are in the Eastern Conference, and who do you, like? I know you said you're surprised about Orlando being in there, and even Charlotte for that matter.
The one team I'm surprised it's not in the playoffs. Maybe Miami. I wasn't really expecting them. Maybe Washington for sure, and that's about it.
Right.
I had a scorching hot take that the Knicks would make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 8-21.
Well, it was a hot take.
It really was a hot take.
Scorching. But yeah, I mean, the East, it's a top-heavy conference.
Yeah.
It's a top-heavy conference, and I think that's what we kind of expected.
You knew what the top 5 teams were going to be. You knew it was going to be Toronto, Milwaukee, Indiana, Philadelphia, and Boston.
Not sure about the Pacers.
Well, I knew they were going to be top 5 because who's taking their spot?
Again,
really?
The Wizards, I think, could have been on par. Like last year, they were on par with the Pacers.
Well, they went to the 8th seed and barely squeaked in.
Well, didn't the Pacers get into the 6th or 7th seed?
No, they were, what, weren't they 5th?
I don't think they were 5th.
They played Cleveland, who ended up being 4th because they dropped off and wanted to play,
I thought they were 3rd. I thought Cleveland was 3rd.
Whether they were 3rd or not, they were 6th place, and Indiana
5th or 6th.
Still had
and then the Wizards were 8th. Okay, so roughly, let's just say whatever. But personally, I think that I'm surprised, like I said, over the Washington Wizards. And trade deadline's in, like 2 months?
Yeah, it's February, isn't it?
So. And then in the West.
The West is where things get real interesting because you have leading the way is Denver at 18-9.
Still sharp.
And then Golden State at 19-10. 17-9 Oklahoma City Thunder. Then the Clippers, obviously, but they've dropped off a little bit. The Lakers are now 17-10. They found their stroke with LeBron James, obviously. They've won 2 in a row. Memphis is still playing well, 16-11.
They dropped off hard,
The Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings are in the playoffs at 7 seed and the 8 seed. Both teams playing real well. And Portland, after their red-hot start, have fallen off the table hard, and they're out of the playoffs at 15-13. But look at that. 2 games over 500, and they're out of the playoffs, where in the East, they'd be 6th place.
I just can't believe what you said about the Sacramento Kings being a playoff spot.
They have some great young players. We've talked about it in previous podcasts. De'Aaron Fox has been fantastic. Willie Cauley-Stein's been fantastic.
Hield's been good.
Buddy Hield's been great as well. Marvin Bagley III has been incredible.
Things are coming together finally for the Sacramento Kings.
It's about damn time. And then you look at DeMar DeRozan's San Antonio Spurs. I mean, as you expected, I didn't know if I expected them to be out of the playoffs. They've now won 3 straight games.
They barely made it last year.
They've played LA. They beat LA in LA. In San Antonio. They beat Utah in San Antonio, and they crushed Phoenix as expected, always. As Phoenix are now 4-24. They've lost 10 straight games. But the question still arises. Mm-hmm. What the heck is going on with the Houston Rockets? They're 12-14. Yeah, they won their last game, but they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They have not played well at all.
Yeah, and the standings don't speak for itself because they're only 2 games below 500. They can easily come back to form.
It's only a game and a half,
I don't
2.5 games.
They're second last in the West, just under 2.
They would be a playoff team in the East. 2 games under 500.
And then look at that drop off. Look at that drop off.
Well, I think we know who's going to be dead last in the Western Conference this year. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He goes from 12-14 Houston Rockets to 4-24 Phoenix Suns.
If I was Devin Booker, I'd get the heck out of there.
I think it might happen.
I'd be mad. I'm sorry, but the Phoenix Suns, I mean, how's their first overall pick doing?
Oh, DeAndre Ayton? I don't even know.
Pretty good.
Lost 10 straight games. That's incredible.
They've had so many draft picks.
He's averaging a double-double, almost 16 points a game.
How's Dragon Bender doing?
Dragon Bender? I don't even know why you even brought that guy up.
Well, because he was drafted high. 2.3 points per game, and they drafted him when?
4th overall in 2016.
Another blown draft pick.
Yep.
And then you have some other ones.
TJ Warren's 1. I don't know how he's doing. 17 points a game. He's actually playing pretty well. Wasn't he a first rounder? First round, 14th. Josh Jackett, wasn't he top? Yeah, 4th in 2016, and he's averaging 8 points a game and not even shooting 40%. Where else we got? They have Jamal Crawford. Mikal Bridges, he was one of their top picks, wasn't he? 10th overall. He's 22 years old, and he's not even over 8 points a game. So they're younger.
A lot of young guys.
And Devin Booker's hurt with a strained hamstring.
No, he's hurt. I don't even think he wants to play on this team.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. That's a really bad
ideally,
record.
He's only shooting 43% from the field and only 31% from 3. Not very good. So he's not even having a Devin Booker type of season. Percentages. Well, he's taking it. Who else is going to shoot?
True, but he still is Devin Booker, and I think he just signed there.
Yeah, so I don't know what the heck's going to happen when it comes to those guys. I don't really know what the heck they're going to do. No. But the Western Conference is a really interesting one because, like we just said, the Houston Rockets, who are 14th and second last, could be a playoff team in the East. They would be the 7th seed, actually, ahead of Orlando, which is really weird.
That's odd. I don't think It's still early-ish in the season. It's not
30
halfway.
games. We're not even halfway. No, 41's halfway. And
we're almost halfway, but I'm a little shocked. I'm a little surprised. I didn't think the East was going to be that. I did, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting a below 500 team to be in the 8th seed. Mm-hmm. It's still early, but whatever.
Now, you were talking about your dark horse team being the New York Knicks. How is Kevin Knox doing? I don't even know how he
had a great preseason summer league, but I don't know if he's doing anything that.
He's averaging almost 10 a game.
As a rookie,
shooting 35%.
That's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. He was what?
9th overall.
9th overall.
He's only 19 years old, so I mean you can't really go off of that.
No.
Too much. I like going through these young players. How's Trae Young?
Trae Young got a huge. I think he got rejected by Luka Doncic the other night. Huge block.
Yeah, and Trae Young's averaging almost 16 points a game as well.
He's shooting a lot though. But
7.3 assists a game. He's 38% from the field, only 24% from 3. Not really good for him. But I mean, like numbers wise, not too terrible.
What is that? Jeremy Lin?
Where?
The Hawks.
Oh, yeah, I think Jeremy Lin is on the Hawks, isn't he?
Yeah, insanity.
He's injured. I don't even know if he's doing anything. He's averaging 11 a game. He's shooting 50%. He's having a pretty good year down there.
Pretty good year for Jeremy Lin. Yeah. I mean,
how's Wendell Carter Jr. on the Bulls?
I think we went to him last podcast.
Okay, well he's averaging 10.8 points a game, 7.1
and Zach LaVine's being Zach LaVine.
Oh, he's fantastic. That kid is that guy is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And didn't they that was in the Jimmy Butler deal, right? They got him and Chris Dunn as well.
I know they got Chris Dunn. I don't know about the other guy.
Chris Dunn's averaging 9 points a game, 6.5 assists, and he's only 24 years old. And like you said, Zach LaVine is having some ridiculous years, having almost 24 a game.
Looks like the Wolves lost almost that trade.
And now look where Jimmy Butler's with.
Who they get? The Wolves.
Like Robert Covington, like a second round pick, and like.
That's the Austrian guy. Oh, what's his name? Saric. Darko Saric?
Dario Saric, yeah.
Dario Saric. Darko Saric.
Darko Milicic, is that what you're kind of going for there?
Let's not bring his name up on this podcast.
Now, people are talking about Pascal Siakam for most improved player of the year. And we're all, rightfully so. But a guy like Derrick Rose.
I think it's the name Derrick Rose, too. That helps, but he's
averaging almost 19 points a game, 18.5 points.
On the Knicks, he was averaging about maybe 14, 15 points. So, with that being said, he's maybe not a big, but it's the name, and he's looked great on the Wolves.
Question I have is Derrick Rose back?
No. He's not. He's never going to be back to his MVP caliber years on the Bulls.
No, I don't believe that, but I'm saying he's averaging 18.5 points. He's shooting almost 50%. He's shooting 47% from 3.
How old is he? He's like 29.
Look at that. Wow. So we're gonna get to that in the baseball segment. Edwin Encarnacion just got traded to the Seattle Mariners. So all
that crap I was talking about Seattle, but then again they got rid of Nelson Cruz.
They just traded Cano, and they just traded
Nelson Cruz.
Gene Segura. I don't know. Pick it up, Edwin.
We'll get to that. A trade, actually, a blockbuster on this podcast.
That's rare. That is rare. So do you think he's a candidate for most improved player?
Yes. I don't think he's back. All-Star game, yes. I think he'll be nominated for the All-Star game.
I think he'll be a nominee. I don't know if he will.
But I don't think he's gonna average over 20 a game. But hey, he's looking great on the Wolves.
Yeah, and Andrew Wiggins, man, what is going on with him?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, his first year or two, he looked great.
Yeah.
After his sophomore year,
once he got the money. Yeah. Once he got the big money.
16 for a guy who should be averaging now around 24, 25 points a game. Yeah. He's averaging 16. He's getting starting minutes. He's playing with Cat. He's playing with D Rose.
Incredible.
Another Canadian basketball first-round talent. Bust.
He's still averaging 16 points a game. He's not a bust.
He's not a bust, but he's not looked at as a superstar or elite.
Agreed, but you said he's a bust. I don't think he's a bust.
No, but if he keeps performing like this, do you think he would be?
No, he's still averaging 16 points a game. I don't think you call him a bust.
For first overall pick?
He's still averaging 16 a game.
He is, but he's not living up to his potential.
Agreed. But he's not a bust.
Yeah, true. He's not a bust.
Busts are guys who's completely suck.
Like Markelle Fultz.
Exactly.
And Anthony Bennett.
Big time. Those are two guys that Markelle Fultz is still very early in his career to start talking bust. But, as of right now, he's on the pace for it. And then Anthony Bennett, absolutely. Yeah. Those are busts. Wiggins, come on. He's still averaging 16
Hey, if he keeps lowering, man.
Well, then, yes.
If he gets under 14 points a game,
then he's getting into uncharted territory. Oh my. Okay, so I think we're gonna. Do you want to move it to the hockey, or do you want to go any Raptors rest of the way? I think something I want to mention with the Raptors before we wrap this baby up. First things first, they're 12-3 on the road, and that right there's a number that's big.
Yeah, that is big.
And 3 of those losses you lost in Milwaukee without Kawhi. You lose in Boston in overtime. And what was the other loss? Was it in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I think so. Hey, but you know what? That's a great road record.
12-3, and that is the best road record in the NBA.
Well, we have the best record in the NBA, so that's kind of speaks for itself.
But I said 12-3, and the next best team is 9-7, which looks like the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken, on the road.
On the road.
Yeah, that is the best road team other than the Raptors. 9-7 Celtics, and we are 12-3.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
Incredible Raptor fans.
Do you want to move to hockey now?
Let's move to hockey now.
All right.
And I guess we talk about William Nylander and how let's trade him. 2 games, no points. Let's trade him.
Yeah, he looks slow out there. Let's get rid of him. What?
And where are those fans now after a great feed to Patrick Marleau?
You know what they are doing now? They're cheering for William Nylander.
They are cheering for, and for Connor Brown. who's on the first line.
Now,
Zach,
yeah.
Okay.
We're going to get right into that right away.
Right into that on that hit. Now, I do believe it was a dirty hit.
Yes, I agree. But I do not believe it was suspension worthy.
No, I don't believe it was suspension worthy either. I think it was a match penalty.
Agreed.
I think he got kicked out of the game. He would get kicked out of the game. Fined. I don't believe it was suspension worthy.
So, let's break this thing down. Was it late? Yes. Yeah. Was it a blindside? Yes. Was there a hit to the head? No. Was there an intent to injure? I don't know about that.
It was an elbow to the head, wasn't it?
Was it directly to the head? I don't know about that.
I think so. If you want to look at the Zach Hyman on that replay, I'm pretty sure. I saw it, especially someone coming back from a concussion. Not the greatest look, Zach.
But he's not a repeat offender.
He's not a repeat offender, right? And I think, now, I'm comparing him to Tom Wilson, but you look at the Tom Wilson hit on Brett Sandy. Excuse me, on the, was it on the Red Wings? Or no, on the Devils.
Right.
He didn't get suspended for that hit, did he?
No.
And that was a clear headshot.
And then Ryan Reeves does not get suspended for hitting Tom Wilson.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, so.
I do believe it.
No, it was not. It was shoulder to shoulder. You watch the replay. It was shoulder to shoulder.
Let's watch the replay.
Fuck. I flipped the cricket. Oh, God, I hit the next. Oh, gosh. Okay, hold on. Please don't give me another ad. Thank you. Look. No.
You can't see. You can't see from there.
All right, well, then let's zoom it in then. Hold on. Let's see if we can...
There we go. Okay, let's see. Move your hand.
No, come on. How can you say it was head-to-head?
No.
Sorry, a headshot. How can you say it was a headshot?
That wasn't a good...
It was not... It wasn't clean. I'm not saying it was a clean hit, because it wasn't.
No, that wasn't... Go to an actual video where you see the slow-mo. Right there. That's probably... I think this is Jack Edwards' commentary. Okay, well, that's...
Okay, it's okay. It's right there. It's right here. See, look.
Dude.
Yeah, well, whatever. Okay. Never mind. Hold on. Okay, there he is. He's on the ground now. Hold on. We're doing this live in the pod just to make sure we're right and making sure we get things right here.
Instead of doing that, why don't you do this so you can actually see the little window? You see that, dude?
There you go.
So fighting.
Oh, look at that. He's right in the ground.
Yeah, and you'll see a replay.
We already saw that replay.
Oh. Well, bottom line, I don't think it was suspension worthy.
It was not a head-to-head. You saw his chest move first as he got hit. I don't know how you don't see that.
No, they don't show.
What did they say they suspended him for? It wasn't for a headshot.
No, it wasn't for a headshot. All right, well, anyways, bottom line is, I don't think it was suspension worthy. I don't think he got fined, but he was suspended for 2 games. And after that, he was obviously out of the game and suspended. So, that being said, Connor Brown's on the first line.
Right.
Bottom line. He looked good against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah?
I see, I don't know why people hate on Connor Brown so much. Because of the role he's playing.
I think because in his first year he was a 20-goal scorer, and everyone expects more from him after that, and it does not happen, and everyone's like, oh, he's terrible.
It does not happen because he's not given the chance to.
When you're playing fourth-line minutes, it's not easy.
If he was playing on the second line on a bad team, he would get 20 goals. He's an NHLer. I think he would get 20 goals on the Vancouver Canucks if he was playing with Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, like Josh Levo is right
Like
now.
Josh Levo is, or on any bad team.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he's given the chance to. In his contract, people are saying, oh, that's a bad contract. He's making, what, 2.5?
Come on now. You can't call that Ron Haynes, he's making 3.5, isn't he?
Well, Ron Haynes is a horse out there. But I agree with you. And that's not a bad contract. But people are being like, because we have so many good players, I guess we have so many good players, the fans just want to rag on one. Just to rag on them?
Well, they ragged on Nylander, and now that he's playing a little bit better, everyone's kind of quiet about that. Now Connor Brown's on the first line. Oh, he's terrible. He shouldn't be here.
No, he should be on the third line. They should bring up William Nylander. No. Let William Nylander sit on the third line. I have no problem with that. And look, he got 2 assists. He looked great out there. In the first 2 games, he looked sloppy. He's gonna, after not practicing with the team.
Yeah, what we have noticed, especially in that last game, when he was taking longer shifts, you could see how tired he was. He did take a penalty for holding because he was too gassed.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's gonna take him. At
least a week and 2 weeks.
I say 5-6 games.
So
to get
basically
his
2 weeks.
okay, yeah, for his conditioning to get up to speed.
Because this guy's not played an actual NHL game. He's not played a game, period.
He hasn't had a full-on
since
NHL
April.
practice.
Since April.
He hasn't had an NHL practice.
Well, I think
a
he's had
game,
practice.
an NHL-worthy practice, other than the one small one. No. Right? So, with that being said, I think he's going to be unbelievable this year.
I agree. I think he's going to be a huge part of this team moving forward. And that all starts tonight. As the Leafs are in Tampa, taking on the Tampa Bay
Well, it
Lightning.
doesn't start tonight, but it hopefully continues tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
And Andrei Vasilevskiy coming back from his 14-game absence, so maybe a little rest out of him.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, a little bit of rest.
Can we talk about Louis Domingue a little bit? The
numbers-
Tampa Bay Lightning, they're playing unbelievable with their backup in.
Well, he's terrible. His record...
Louis Domingue?
His record is great, but his numbers are horrendous. 295 and a 905.
Hey, they're winning.
Exactly, that's what I said. He's terrible, but the record's great.
905, yeah. I was even for him, a 905's not like.
Well, when you have a team like Tampa in front of you, who's playing ridiculous right now,
he held down the fort. Sure, it's not great, but it's not terrible. So, welcome back, Andrei Vasilevskiy. Hopefully, we can see a little rust out of him tonight.
that'd be great. That'd be really nice to see out of Vasilevskiy, seeing a little bit of rust.
I'm praying for something. Now we're playing at home.
No, we're in Tampa.
Oh, jeez.
We're on that Florida trip because then Saturday we play in Florida.
So a healthy Tampa Bay Lightning team versus a healthy Toronto Maple Leafs team.
This is going to be
the
beauty.
first.
This could be possibly an Eastern Conference Final test. Bottom line, this is the top 2 teams in the league right here facing off. So it's going to be quite the interesting.
Actually, this could be a second round matchup, possibly.
It could be.
Right.
It could even be a first, depending on what happens.
Yeah, and I'm kind of done with the. I thought my phone went out for a sec. Our defense core. I'm done on the.
What?
See, with trade talks looming,
Right.
and with the St. Louis Blues doing as bad as they can,
Pietrangelo.
Alex Pietrangelo possibly is on the trade market.
Well, he's injured right now, correct?
He's injured right now. Well, I should know. I'm fancy. He's
Yeah.
on IR. What would a package look like?
Well, his contract is up after next year.
So he has one more year.
After
then
this
he's going to
season.
get a big payday. Well,
He's already making still, I'm assuming, quite a bit of money.
I think he's making around 6. I think he's making 6.5 if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to get a pay raise from that.
Oh, I think so too.
I'm pretty sure. And with him being injured and with the St. Louis Blues having a terrible season, you look at a package that could include a top 9 forward from the Leafs. Listen, if the Leafs have to give up their first rounder for Pietrangelo, I would do it.
He's making 6.5.
Hey,
by the way.
that's what I said. But
And he's from King City, Ontario.
a good Canadian boy. Do it.
Good old Canadian boy. It's great old Canadian boy. Hey, you can play good old time hockey, eh?
Now,
yeah,
yeah. Now, what the Leafs would have to give up is, like I said, a speedy forward, Kapanen or Janssen, I'd imagine, going back the other way. A high draft pick, maybe a first.
Yep.
If you can throw in Zaitsev, I gotta say something about Zaitsev. I'm off the wagon, the Zaitsev wagon. I'm done with him.
Okay.
I'm done with him.
I'm trying my best to hang on to it, but I'm not sure if I can hang on much longer.
I gave him ample opportunity. I said, you know what, Zaitsev? Last year you had an injury. Last year you had a kid. You were off a lot of time. I think you missed like 20, 25 games. This year, there's no excuses. You're playing 20 minutes a night with Jake Gardiner, right? A pretty damn good defense partner. I get you're not on the PP. That doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
You got to get... Freddie the GOAT has more points than Zaitsev. To take that into perspective.
Yeah.
And plus, Freddie the GOAT's playing 10 minutes a night. No, not even.
Well, he has not looked bad out there, has Freddie Goat.
I think he got some fluke assists, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, I mean, hey,
he played look, that first goal
big.
in Carolina, I got to say, he did his job. He got the puck in the zone, he got it deep, and then he went right to the net.
And then
he went right to the net.
Yeah, he's big. That's all I can get for Gauthier. He's big. His skating's but you know what? He's big. Keep him around. Zaitsev, I don't know about you, right? But I'm kind of off the Zaitsev. I'm kind of done with him. I think you got to unload on him.
So the Sportsnet website posted the possible mock trades, and the Leafs are on here, actually. The trade would be Connor Brown,
Okay.
Timothy Liljegren,
Okay.
Nikita Zaitsev, and their 2019 second-round pick.
Just for Pietrangelo?
Yeah.
That's...
And in the salary cap, all that crazy stuff, the Leafs do save $100,000 in salary, which isn't much, but it's
swap out our defensive prospect
Liljegren
for our first.
So you'd be okay with him at first?
That's
and
a
second.
lot, but you're getting an all-star Olympian right-handed defenseman who can log you 25 minutes a night, who can play on the power play, foot-to-foot speed with Morgan Riley.
Yeah.
I think you do it. But his contract's up in 2 years. I don't know if we can re-sign him.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And then another talk. Oh, Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons is available.
Philly's terrible. I'm just going to throw that out there. They're awful.
Hey, they gave up a 2-goal lead last night against the Flames
with minute 10. And I got to talk about the Flames real quick. Everyone's talking about how they're the best team in the Western Conference and all that crazy stuff. I know you want to get back to the Flyers, but I just wanted to talk about them for a second here. I understand people are jacked up about the Calgary Flames and how they come back and they score a lot of goals. As us Leaf fans have known, scoring goals a lot doesn't always work. Because, look, yeah, you came back from 2 goals and won in overtime. You faced the Flyers. You faced a team like Tampa. You faced a team like the Leafs, the Bruins, these good teams. Would you be able to do that?
Hey, it's working for them in the West, right? They've won, 8 games now? 8 straight? 7 straight?
Something like that. They've been playing great hockey record-wise, but I mean,
I thought you were going to their goaltending.
It's terrible.
It's not the greatest. They got Mike Smith and,
Dave Riddick?
It's not JJ.
It's Dave Riddick. David Riddick, and he's come back down to earth a little bit, but he's still playing really good. Numbers are great, 9-3-1.
So what you're saying is that, sure, you can score a lot. I mean, but the Flames have a good defense core. It's just their goaltending. It's subpar.
You need your goaltending to be good. They're 20-10-2 are the Flames. They've won their last game. They haven't won it.
I like the Flames.
But they're a good team. It's just I don't trust their goaltending whatsoever.
You got Mike Smith in there, who's an okay veteran. He's showing his age, and you got this. What's his name? Yeah, who's 25 years old, who's playing great. You're out with a hot hand. Both goalies didn't look well last game. Mike Smith let in a stinger to Dale Weiss, of all players.
Where'd the time go? Remember when he was so good in
Montreal?
Yeah.
In the playoff series.
Yep, he's been terrible since then. But I mean, and so now let's go back to the Flyers, okay?
So Wayne Simmons is on the block, right? Who isn't on the Flyers, except for maybe Claude Giroux. There was a saying, we should give up Kasperi Kapanen. No. Because...
he's in the final year of his deal as Wayne Simmons.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to giving up our first for Wayne Simmons this year. Why not?
He's only has 14 points in 29 games.
But
he is Wayne Simmons, and he's fantastic.
And I think what the Leafs need is a grit and someone that can fight. And also can score goals. Wayne Simmons is a rare breed in this league. You don't see many players who can scrap and is effective in 2018 with goal scoring. Lucic, for example, sure, he can fight. Is he effective? No.
Of course not.
Wayne Simmons is still an effective player. I would give up our first rounder this year for Wayne Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, look, Wayne
Would
Simmons
you?
is still... yeah, of course he is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a late first. Kasperi Kapanen for Wayne Simmons? Probably not.
No.
I mean, I do believe that you will have to unload on him at some point, Kasperi Kapanen, with the cap crunch coming.
But the thing is, though, you're not going to be able to get guys like Pietrangelo, and you're not going to get Wayne Simmons. So who would you go for out of the two? I think Pietrangelo is the one you would have to go for
definitely
Wayne
him.
Simmons.
But I mean, the price is going to be immense. But look who you're getting. I don't know if I would give up I would give up Janssen or Kapanen and a first and Zaitsev, and then we retain half on Zaitsev.
You retain half
for Pietrangelo.
That's interesting.
I want to keep our prospects defensively.
Yep.
And
add Pietrangelo to the mix.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then get rid of Zaitsev, and then you put Ron Hainsey on a pairing with Jake Gardner, maybe.
Speaking of Timothy Liljegren, as we said, he was in the possible trades. He is injured now, and he's going to be out for weeks.
Oh, so he's not going to the World Juniors?
Probably not. I think he broke his hand or something, and he's going to be out for quite a while.
Sandin, man. Sandin's been playing awesome.
He's been fantastic with the Marlies, and he's going to be going to be that cornerstone for that junior.
That sucks for Liljegren, too.
The Swedish, yeah. I mean, it really does, because he was a lot of promise for that young man, and obviously, I'm just going to look him up here and see how he was doing, but there was a lot of hype towards him, of course, and rightfully so, because obviously he was supposed to go in the top draft the year we drafted him, but obviously when he had mono, he had all that crazy stuff going on with him. He didn't say
I
healthy.
think he was overhyped a little too much, in my opinion.
He has so this season he has 8 points in 19 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. He's a -4.
It's okay. I would like to see a little bit more out of him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I think he was overhyped a little bit too much when we drafted him. I think the Leafs were praised too much for drafting him. We're like, oh, I can't believe we got this guy. Steal, next to Erik Karlsson.
I don't know about that.
Well, I heard those.
Yeah,
I heard those
of course,
comparisons.
yeah, of course.
I don't know. With him, it sucks that he broke his what was it? His collarbone or something.
I don't know.
He broke something. He's out for weeks because if you break something, you're going to be out for weeks. At least we got Sandin, and he's going to Sweden for the World Juniors. So
yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. So it was a high ankle sprain.
oh, was it?
Yeah, so he's going to be out quite a while, and he'll probably miss the World Juniors. But Rasmus Sandin is a guy to keep your eye on, guys. We know in Canada the World Juniors are a big thing, and everyone tries to watch it around Christmas time and all that stuff. Keep an eye on Sweden. Keep an eye on Rasmus Sandin, because that kid looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great-looking young player for this team, with obviously Ron Hainsey getting older and Nikita Zaitsev being terrible, and Jake Gardner's contract coming to an end, and we have no idea what his future lies in Toronto. Sandy might be a guy to come into this team next year and maybe even push for a spot.
Yeah, maybe even Rosen. Callie Rosen just got signed to a
2-year deal.
Yeah,
really
2-year
small
deal.
money, $700,000,
That's interesting. So Dubas is doing something. He's tinkering a little bit.
and I like it. I like what I've seen.
Why
from
don't
Dubas.
you? I forgot that we had Justin Hull still as a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Why don't you scratch Nikita Zaitsev for a game? But see, Mike Babcock wouldn't do that because he's a workhorse.
Zaitsev is a quote-quote workhorse?
Yeah, because he plays 20 minutes a night, but he's getting no power play time.
I think the reason...
And he's not that good as a PK killer.
I think the reason why is because this team is 6-3-1 in the last 10. They're 21-9. And you look at their stats here. I'm going to try and find their goals against. They're 5th best in the league in goals against. You know, shots allowed, yeah, they're 26.
But
which
this is
terrible,
the team.
but
I'm looking at one player. It wouldn't
I know.
hurt. It wouldn't hurt to give Nikita Zaitsev the night off.
But it's not. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right, and that's what you love. That's what you always
True.
hear. The team is 3rd in
But
goals
he looks
for.
broke.
The team is 3rd in goals for, and they are 5th in goals against.
But I don't think it would hurt the team drastically if you give him a night off. Sure, it's working, but that's the team. Look, for Zaitsev, it's not a huge deal if you sit him one game for Justin Hall.
He's making the big money. You want him to play.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, I'm done with him. I gave him a shot, you know, and
I don't know. For me, the team's playing well, so I'm trying not to think too much negative because really, what the heck? I mean,
oh yeah, true. After a 4-1 whomping, I mean, it was kind of 3-1 because Dougie Hamilton, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was kind of greasy, and that it was William Nylander's.
He played terrible.
Yeah,
Dougie Hamilton played horrible.
How's Noah Hannafin done in Calgary? Do we know?
Not bad. He's you know, he's not projected to be top 2 yet, but I actually think he's got maybe 14, 15 points.
Yeah.
Alan Quinn's on.
There's Noah Hannafin. He's got 14 points in 32 games,
not
3
bad.
goals, 11 assists. But again, remember, he was 5th overall.
And remember,
Dylan Strome.
we should trade.
Remember what Dylan Strome that draft, dude? Come
Oh
on.
no,
We both know that
we should
everyone...
trade Mitch Marner for Noah Hannafin from Nick Kyprios.
Yeah, no. And Dylan Strome has been better with the Blackhawks.
He's been good
With
the yeah, that's good.
He's been better with the Blackhawks than he was with the Coyotes.
Can we talk about how
himself.
crap the Chicago Blackhawks are?
They just beat Pittsburgh, but yeah, they're 10, 18, and 5.
They just got what, to their 10th win?
Yeah. Corey Crawford is horrendous.
He's bad. Well, the whole team's bad.
He's terrible. 6-14 record.
The whole team's bad.
Yeah.
Duncan Keith's bad. Brent Seabrook scored on his own net the other night.
Sounds about right for Chicago right now. Look, that team has had their time. They got to find a way to move on. But those
really
contracts, you're not able to.
You really think you should have moved on from Joel Quenneville?
And also, the Artemi Panarin trade for Brendan Saad.
Worst.
I mean, why the heck did you even make that move?
Yeah. Okay, so one last thing. The Edmonton Oilers. We got to talk about them a little bit. 8-2. 8-2 under Ken Hitchcock.
About damn time.
About damn time.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
I mean,
They're in a second wild card spot. They've won 4 in a row.
I think they can keep it up. I think they can. But at this point, you look at Andrei Sekera coming back, and that's huge for them.
Oh, big time. He's been out for quite a while.
Goaltending's been better for them.
Has it been Koskinen, or has been like he's been great? Look at 10-3 and 1 with a 2.2 and a 927 save percentage. And Cam Talbot
hasn't been playing
at all. Right?
Why don't he
hasn't played since
why
December
don't you
7th. Wow.
I mean, if I was the Oilers, I would sign Mikko Koskinen to a large deal. Why not?
Oh God, no, we're not gonna do this again because
why not?
Let me go to Winnipeg real quick here. They're doing very well lately. 19-9, they've won 2 straight. How has Connor Hellebuck been for them as of late?
She's just jumping
2.8 and a 910. Not Connor Hellebuck numbers. He got some big money last year because of his good rookie season.
Who's their backup again?
Laurent Brossoit.
How's he doing? Wow,
he's doing really well.
Yeah. So if I was Edmonton, why not give Mikko Koskinen a large payday? $4 million.
Oh God, yeah.
Over 4 years, 5 years.
Why not do it right away? Way to go, Chiarelli. Keep going, buddy.
Keep going. So then you have Cam Talbot, who's locked up for large money. Lucic, who's been fighting all the time.
Not scoring goals, but fighting all the time.
That's all that matters
to him.
That's all that matters.
Making everyone feel pain.
And they got Mikko Koskinen. Good job, Edmonton.
I'm just gonna find Lucic here. I kind of want to see how he's doing. Whereas not Winnipeg. Edmonton. They just beat Colorado 6-4. Okay. But I mean, then again, I think it was like 6-0 or 6-1. So, and Koskinen was in the net for that. Where is Lucic? He had an assist in his last game. Good for him. Probably off the schneid now, right? No, you're.
It's probably your phone.
It's not gonna load.
The Wi-Fi signal in here is great.
It's terrible.
Whoa.
It's terrible.
We'll just use your data. You got enough.
Why would I do that in your house? Like, there's no point for that. There we are. Milan Lucic. 7 points in 31 games. He's got 37 penalty minutes. He's a minus 10.
That's a $6 million player if you ask me.
How many more years does he have in that contract?
Like 4.
That's terrible. That's just
well,
terrible.
Then again, we can't talk because of Zaitsev's contract, but I would take Nikita Zaitsev over Lucic any day.
Zaitsev almost has as many points as Lucic.
How many points does Zaitsev have, actually? It's got to be like 5 or 6, I think. Let's see.
He's got 2 assists in 31 games. He's an even player. I mean... Yikes. Anyways,
never mind.
Anyways, I think.
So let's.
But like we said, the Leafs take on the Lightning tonight in.
And you're expecting a close game.
I think it's going to be a. I don't know what the heck to expect.
I wouldn't be surprised if the
I like
Leafs
to say high scoring, but then again, both goalies are very good. I know Vasilevsky's just come back, but if you look at him personally, he's a very good goalie. Freddie Anderson's been great this year.
I love Toronto, but I wouldn't be so shocked if they lose.
I wouldn't either, but. You gotta have faith in our boys. Right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a close game. Now, moving to the Blue Jays, huge news. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki has been bought out.
Well, released, but basically.
Well, it's bought out.
Yeah.
Right. So we still have 36 point something $1 million that we gotta pay him.
Well, I think they just paid him right away, and then that's it.
He's not on the cap. I think a certain percentage of him is on. Well, I shouldn't say cap, the payroll. If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
This is... I saw actually something on TSN. Let me just go to that quickly, I think. Of the biggest... what was it?
Drop-off?
Buyouts in the last 10 years. And Troy Tulowitzki, I think, is 5th. It went... Gilbert Arenas was 1st.
Yeah, wow.
Rick DiPietro's up there. So
that money he made, a 12-year contract, dude.
16.
Why not? Look, DiPietro was good, but he got depression. I think he was like depression issues or something like that.
No, he was just injured. He just got injured a lot, and then I guess when you're injured, sure you're depressed a lot. I guess that's what you're trying to say.
I mean, I guess.
But so bottom line is he's off the roster. I don't want to say good riddance, but good riddance.
Yeah, I agree. Good riddance. Tulo, see ya.
We can't really say because he was with this team for 2 years, done wonders with this team. He was great.
Yeah,
great in the locker room until he got hurt. And he went on, a couple runs with us.
But the fact that the Jays did not try and wait a little bit longer and then trade him. Look, the Jays are not going to be up near their top of the cap for a while.
They know something's up, and they knew that he wasn't going to be ready for the season.
Therefore, he will not be signed by another team. I'm pretty sure Troy Tulowitzki's future is done. His baseball is done.
I agree. I mean,
if he does, he might get a minor league deal by somebody. But
I could see that happening. I don't think he's done, but he's done getting.
You have bone spurs in both your feet, and you're out for a year and a half, and you're now 34 years old.
The Jays released him with 3-4 months before spring training.
Yeah,
that just speaks for itself that he's not going to be healthy for the 2018-2019 season.
And the trade of Diaz, the releasing of Solarte, the releasing of Troy Tulowitzki, it tells us all what this Jays plans are moving forward. It tells us that the younger players are going to be taking the reins in very short time. You're going to be seeing Vladdy in May. You might even see Bo Bichette in May, depending on how spring training for him goes and the first month of the season goes for him. And you'll probably see Rowdy Tellez more. You'll probably see other guys more often because this team is trying to take this team to the next level. And the crazy thing is, you look back to that 2015-2016 seasons, and that's only, 2 years away? 3 years past. The only guys left are Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar. You can throw Ryan Tepera into the mix, but, I mean, we're talking positional players. Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez. That's it.
Yeah, and that's basically to do with when the Jays were good, their players were past their prime or in their prime right now. And I think you mentioned that on a podcast or a video of yours or something, where you mentioned when the Jays finally made it to the playoffs in 2015, their players were
over 30.
Late 20s, early 30s, and then you got Jose Bautista in his late 30s.
Yeah.
Mid to late 30s with players on this team. Now you're seeing, sure, it's only been 2 years, but the players are old because when they were in the playoffs, when the Jays were in the playoffs, their players were, like you say, in their prime or past it.
And I think as you talked about it in the last podcast, you said how this upcoming year for the Jays, there's probably going to be a lot of losses, but it's going to be a lot more fun because you're going to be seeing a lot of the younger players playing. You're going to see a lot of the young players getting in there. And
now, mind you, I don't think that the Jays are going to roll with so many rookies.
No.
I think from the definitely Vladdy G. He's ready. Other than that, do you really think anybody else is ready for the bigs? That's why I think that you should do what the Leafs did when they signed Brad Boyce, when they signed P.A. Parento. Keep them down in the minors for a little bit. Bring them up if you got an injury, but don't start them. So I think the Jays in free agency got to sign veteran presences like Curtis Granderson last year for this team to still be competitive, but let the young guys, don't throw the young guys into the fire. We were terrible last year. Don't throw them into the fire. Let them develop, and if you got an injury, they're the first people you bring up.
Yeah. Right. So you're saying like a guy like Danny Jansen and a guy like Reese McGuire, two catchers, will be down in the minors because you have Russell Martin and Luke Maley already in the MLB? Or do you look to, I don't know what you do with those kind of guys. Like,
well, I don't know if they're ready. That's the thing.
Well, they were great last year.
Okay, so if they look ready, go ahead. Play them. I'm just saying, though, you have a lot of holes, and if you trade Sanchez, for example, don't throw in a prospect pitcher. Sign one in free agency, if there is one, right? Don't feed them to the wolves if they're not ready. I think that Jansen is somewhat ready. Definitely Vladdy.
Yeah, well, Vladdy's ready because he's
Bo. I don't think Bo's ready.
No, well, like I've said, I think for him it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in spring training and what happens in the first month of the year. If he has a great spring with this team and he has a ridiculously good first month, because I think he'll be playing in AAA Buffalo this year, and if he plays great there, I think he'll come up with Vladdy. I really do.
It's true, and that's the thing. We don't know because spring training has not happened yet. So we basically don't know what these players are looking like after the offseason, if they gain more muscle, if they're looking like they could be in the big leagues. We have no idea what they look like right now. So it's hard to say. I think the Jays, though, they shouldn't go too young in the lineup. They should still have veteran presence, and I think they should sign maybe 2 or 3 guys in free agency who can make an impact. They're not fillers. They can actually make an impact, but for 1 year, 2 year deals.
Yeah. When I look, and there's been a lot of rumors surrounding Russell Martin possibly being moved. And I do.
What can you get for him?
Well, no, you're not going to get much. But he's in the final year of his deal. He's a veteran. Look, on a team that has a lot of cap space, not cap space, salary room or budget space or whatever you want to call it. They can take a guy like that. And if the Jays have to retain some, fine. Because the Jays, look, I really do believe Danny Jansen is going to have the reins this year. I think Reese McGuire is going to start in AAA. I personally believe it would be a Danny Jansen, Luke Maley start. And if things progress and if Luke Maley doesn't have a great year, which I'm assuming he's going to have a half-decent season, I think you leave it like that and let Reese McGuire continue to develop in AAA.
I agree with you. If they look ready.
Right. And Danny Jansen, to me, looked ready on both sides of the ball. Now, Reese McGuire did as well. They both looked really good. I mean, Danny Jansen, we had more of a sample of him.
Yeah, because Jansen played, maybe like 15, 20 games?
I think it was a little bit more than that. I think it was like 25, 30
Roughly,
games.
though.
But yeah, he played a little bit more than Reese McGuire did. And there's obviously more, obviously trade talks coming in, and we all hearing about Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez. And then that is obviously the big thing that's been coming out from the Blue Jays this year from the Blue Jays. But you look at the guy like Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez, and you think, like, are they going to be traded? I don't know what you're feeling towards that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that because they're not actively shopping both players, but after 2 horrendous years, like you say, right now they're not going to get a lot for them. So why would you sell them at their lowest point?
Exactly.
And plus, we don't really have anyone in the minors who can be possibly brought up that can make an impact better than Sanchez or Stroman. I think you maybe get rid of one, definitely not both of them, but I think that you should just keep them. Because what do we have to lose, really?
I think you definitely have to keep them because they're both at their lowest points in their careers. Why do you trade them now?
And plus, if you want to trade them, play them more, let's see what you got in them, and then excel their trade value if they're playing good. Because listen, I don't think that they can go... the only way for these both pitchers is up. They can't really do worse than last year.
They couldn't stay healthy. When they were terrible.
And plus, you keep them, and you can see what you can possibly get for them at the trade deadline or mid-season.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know now's the best time to unload on them. And plus, they're not old. Sanchez is, 26? Stroman's
27, 28, maybe.
28, maybe. Okay. And then Stroman's, 26, 27? Something like that?
I think it's flipped, actually. Stroman's 27, I think, and Sanchez is 25, 26. Something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, still fairly young.
Yeah.
Still really haven't hit their prime.
Well, clearly, since they haven't stayed healthy.
I think you keep them, but there are taking calls, so I wouldn't be shocked if they do, but I don't want them to.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think any move is going to be happening with Stroman and Sanchez in the near future at all. But look, for this team moving forward, obviously a lot of things have happened over the last week or so that we've had to discuss. But I think we got to go around the league now, and there's a ton of things going on. There is a ton of things, and it just went down so the Carlos Santana, Jake Bauers. So Carlos Santana on the Phillies, Jake Bauers, I think on the Rays, if I'm not mistaken, went to Cleveland, and then Edwin Encarnacion goes to let me just go into the damn trade. How about that?
There you go.
A lot easier than trying to read it off that there. But Edwin Encarnacion, he's gone from Cleveland. I think he's in the final year of his deal. Okay, so the Indians, Mariners, and the Rays, a 3-team trade finalist that sends DH Edwin Encarnacion to Seattle in the final year of his deal for first baseman Carlos Santana from the Phillies and left fielder Jake Bauers. So Jake Bauers was on Tampa, and so Cleveland got Carlos Santana back. Well, they got him back, and Jake Bauers and cash Cleveland and middle infielder Yandy Diaz.
That's weird as well as a minor league right-hander. This trade because they unloaded on
Cano and Gene Segura. I don't know why you make a move like this for an aging.
So they're still
DH.
trying to be competitive. I don't know if it's going to work for them. I thought they were on a rebuild.
I thought so too. I think we all believed that. And then you see something like this, and you're like, "Wait, hold up, what's going on here?"
So what's going on with Cleveland now? I mean, they lost Edwin. They lost Josh. I mean, really, he wasn't really a part, but I'm just saying.
And they're talking about trading Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer. We talked about that in the last podcast. So look, the tribe is in shambles right now because you look at and we talked about it. We've talked about it many times. Their budget is probably not one of the biggest ones out there.
But they already signed Edwin, so why? That's the thing. Well, it's not like they have to re-sign Edwin in a year. You signed him for what?
Well, he still has one more year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal. This is year 3, I think, starting up. But he is 35 years old. And Jake Bauer's is a good-looking young first baseman, and Santana's a great player right now. And they know that because Santana played for Cleveland before Edwin got there. And he's a great looking player. So I mean, look, Cleveland, yeah, I understand. Look, if they're still trying to trade Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer, then why the heck are you going after a Carlos Santana? I mean, maybe it's a cap dump maybe for the Phillies. I'm not sure.
They're going to be a playoff team, competitive.
Well, they're definitely going to win their division because their division is horrendous.
So Seattle is in the AL or NL?
AL. They're in the Astros division. Let me go to.
So that's the South. I don't even know.
I think it's the Central or something like that. But let me go to let's go to the American League here. So look, Cleveland won their division. But look at the teams there. Minnesota's terrible. Detroit's horrendous. The White Sox suck. And Kansas City's the best team after Cleveland was 6 games under 500. Mm-hmm. They're going to win the division next year. It doesn't even matter who they get. You know, and then you look at Seattle, like you said, they're in the Houston Astros and Oakland A's division, as well as the Angels and Rangers. But Seattle coming off a 16 games over 500 season. I don't know. They unload some key pieces. Yeah, so that's really, I don't really know how that's all going to work. And of course, J Happ back with the New York Yankees.
2-year deal.
With an option at the end of for the 3rd year.
So this was yesterday.
Yep.
A little, you know what? I shouldn't say shocked. I don't think J Happ was going to come back to a rebuilding Jays team.
No, but I'm just
35 years old.
I'm just kind of upset he's going back to the Yankees, really. But it's the way it goes. It's baseball.
Well, right now the Jays are going to be the bottom of the league. I wouldn't say the league, but definitely not past the Yankees or the Red Sox or maybe even Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Look, I don't.
So we're going to be the bottom with the Baltimore Orioles.
Jays fans, just hang in there. Just hang in there. And big news, the Boston Red Sox, look, as much as they won the World Series and they're still an amazing team, looks like they're going to lose Craig Kimbrell, their all-star best closer in the game. And Joe Kelly, their very reliable reliever, had an ERA of under 3, and he was fantastic. He just signed with the Dodgers.
Really?
For a 3-year deal. So those are 2 big relievers they just lost. And the MLB nowadays is a big reliever game.
But at this point, do you care because you won a World Series?
No,
I wouldn't.
But now you got to look towards next year. Look, they've enjoyed it now, but you gotta keep going.
Oh, definitely. You gotta plan for the future, I guess. And with these 2 relievers, you think it's definitely a bad move for them.
Craig Kimbrell, like I've said, one of the best closers in the game, and you're kind of letting him go, and he wants more than $100 million. That's obviously an issue.
So right now we're in basically the thick of things for free agency.
Free agency is just underway, and the big questions are going to be, where's Bryce Harper and Manny Machado going to go? And all Yankee fans, they didn't get Patrick Corbin. I think we talked about it in the last podcast. They didn't get Patrick Corbin, so they're going after Bryce Harper. Yeah, Brian Cashman, their GM, shut that down really quickly. So Bryce Harper is not going to be a Yankee. So what's the excuse now? Oh, let's go after Manny Machado.
Well, maybe they have the payroll.
I know, it's stupid.
If you were in their eyes, you want to be competitive with the Red Sox.
But they're not going after Manny Machado. They have Andujar, who's their young, amazing third baseman who should have won Rookie of the Year, but did not.
Who was he facing? Or who was he?
I don't remember who it was. But all I know is that he should have won Rookie of the Year and did not. And you're going to add Manny Machado to the mix? Or you could argue say he's a shortstop, but Didier Gregorius is there and fantastic. So I don't know. And
it's interesting.
It's going to be really interesting to see where those big fish lie once the season begins. It's going to be quite an interesting one. I think we're going to the questions now. You ready for the
because
questions?
the laptop's at 10%.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. As long as I can keep an eye on it and doesn't get
now
too
it dropped
low.
to 9.
No, it didn't. That made me look. Oh my God, are we like 12 here? Come on now. What is this?
We've known each other that long.
All right, let's go to the podcast question. We only have 3 of them, not too many here. Roderick, at this point in time, what do you think the Blue Jays rotation will be for the Jays 2019 season? I think it's going to start with Sanchez and Stroman, if healthy. I think you go Ryan Borucki as your 3rd guy. The 4th guy is a toss-up. As of
Maybe
right now,
free agent pickup?
As of right now, he's asking if the team stays the same right now. I could see Thomas Pannone and Sam Gaviglio. I think you're going to leave Sean Reid-Foley in the minors. Yeah. I do believe that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, okay. So we got Stephen W. Do you think there is pressure from the Raptors, as Stephen A. Smith said, to make the playoffs? No, not at all. I honestly believe that the Raptors will be extremely competitive in the playoffs, could make the finals. I think they will make the finals. I think the Toronto Raptors will make the finals. And with Stephen A. Smith, I don't think there's really any pressure. Sure, there is because the Raptors are not known for doing really well in the playoffs at all.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be pressure regardless.
And to hear a guy from, like, to hear Stephen A. Smith say something, we've heard over time this whole Charles Barkley thing. I mean, some people say that's a curse and everything like that. But now Stephen A. Smith saying something.
Well, maybe, hopefully he could do wonders for the Raptors in the playoffs.
And Chatterbox Reviews reactions to Harper going to the Yankees. Well, as I said, it is not going to be happening. So that's not a thing.
That is not a thing. I think we actually got a little bit more here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. There we go. So Stephen W. with Kawhi Leonard out with a hip injury, I could say that we have 100% loss in the game. Well, this was obviously before the game happened.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's fantastic. I think we're just gonna wrap that up there then. No more questions here, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast once again. We appreciate your guys' support every single week, and we had a feeling this one was going to be a little bit longer. Oh, an hour 10, not too bad.
Actually, a bit shorter.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of things we wanted to discuss when it comes to the Leafs and Raptors because there was a ton of things to get to.
Yeah.
And I think we got to them all. Usually we find something after the podcast we're like, damn, we should have talked about that.
Probably just knowing us both. Thankfully, just a blockbuster trade happened on the podcast for once.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
And not after.
And so thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate your guys' support every single week. And Evan and I will talk to you guys sometime next week. We haven't talked about it yet, but I have some days off, so we should be golden when it comes to that. Thank you guys so much for listening. And like I said, we appreciate your guys' support. And Evan, I'll talk to you guys later tonight. Leafs edition as they're in Tampa taking on the Lightning. Big one for the Buds there in Tampa. And as for Evan and I, we will talk to you guys sometime next week. We'll discuss it and I'll let you guys know in the videos. Thank you guys for listening.
Episode 40.
Episode 40 next week. There you go. And thank you guys so much for listening. And Evan and I will talk to you guys then.
Peace.